Hi, who are you? Some of you might say, I'm a manager, I'm a student. Now, I want you to take a paper and write down the answer to my question, who are you? Also include your answer to your own question. In a reflective mood, you might ask, who am I? So answer to that question also. Welcome to Mindscape Matters, a channel to discuss mental health and more. I am Dr. Mohan Raj. I am a consultant psychiatrist based in Chennai. And I'll be your guide as we travel this wonderful landscape together. Hope you have written down the answer to my question. Most of you would have written manager, senior manager, and wide variety of professional roles. Now, I would tell you, this is not the real you. This is your professional role. What is the problem in considering your professional role as your identity? For example, somebody came to me and he said he's retired so-and-so. It was the highest post in a particular department in the government. Now, his complaint was, nobody is respecting me after I retired. Now, what has happened is, this person considered his role as whoever in that government position as his identity, and he saw everybody else through that lens. And he treated people down the hierarchy like a big boss, and when he retired, nobody cared for him afterwards. Whereas in the same office, somebody was a clerk, a section head, who retired 10 years ago and had recently come to the pension department for some pension related issue. Everybody in the office was saying, sir has come, sir has come. They all went there to the admin office, met him, talked to him nicely and came back. Now, what is the difference? The first person considered his role as his identity. So when he retired, suddenly his identity came crashing down. Whereas the second person didn't bother. He knew it was only a role. He treated everybody as fellow human beings and they reciprocated the same whether he is in the job or he is retired. All these designations and professional roles are not the real you. Now, people ask me, as a psychiatrist, do you observe and do you analyze everybody you meet on the dinner party? I say, no way. I'm a psychiatrist only in my clinic when I'm with my patients or when I'm teaching students about psychiatry. Outside, I'm not a psychiatrist. In a dinner party, I might play the role of a host or a guest or a friend to other friends. That's all. I don't get into others' head and think of what they are thinking. Now, this is best exemplified by Chandramukhi movie. When it was released, the storyline had a psychiatrist who can read people's mind even without they telling anything. Now, at that time, my daughter was in 5th standard. So all her friends got excited and asked her, hey, your father is a psychiatrist, no? Can he read your mind even without you telling anything? And my daughter said, no, they have exaggerated in the movie. My father will not understand even if I tell him. For everything, I need to tell him twice for him to understand. And that was a very, very fond memory of mine. And that also explains that I'm not a psychiatrist outside the clinic. Some of you would have written father or mother. Now, being a father or mother is not a 24/7. It is also a role that we play while we are with our children or when we are thinking about them. Similarly, some of you might have written son or daughter. Same, we are son and daughter in the context of our parents when we are with them or when we are talking about them. Same with husband and wife, only when in that context. Same with niece, nephew, being an uncle, being an aunt, being a grandparent, being a grandchild, being a friend. All these are roles we play in an appropriate context with the appropriate person. The other day I was waiting in the airport. They called us out. Passengers from seat number 21 to 30, please board your flight. Passengers? They didn't call, doctor, please board. Psychiatrist, please board. Father, please board. Now I'm a passenger. Yes, that's also a role I play when I'm in the airport, railway station, or a bus stand. Now I reach Port Blair, Andamans. Now I am called a tourist. I pick up a local newspaper. It says, readers are requested to do this. Now I am a reader. I put on the TV. The announcer says, viewers are advised to use their discretion to, and so on. Now I am a viewer. Now these are all different roles that we play. For me, the role of a passenger, role of a viewer or a reader is same as the role of being a psychiatrist or a father. As long as we are aware these are all roles, we can play all these roles very well and effectively, appropriately in that context. Problem comes when we take our role too seriously, consider it as our identity, and that is when problem starts. For example, there are people who stay in their role throughout, like even when they are flying. I am a doctor, can I have a window seat? Or when they are in the wilderness, they look at the plants and trees and think about their botanical names, genus, species, rather than marvel at the beauty of the garden. Now, this is because they are mistaking their role for identity. If we take our roles too seriously and consider it as our identity, what can go wrong? Let's see an example. There is a shooting in progress. Scenario is like this. The actor starts his dialogue. Now, oru thadava sonna, nooru thadava sonna madri. The director says, one more take with some emotion. So the actor again says, now oru thadava sonna, nooru thadava sonna madri. The director says, yes, good, but one more take. Naan oru thadavai sonna, nooru thadavai sonna madri. So this way, the director is saying, good, but one more take, and they go up to 40 takes. The actor is completely cooperative. Now they finish, director is very happy at the end of 40 takes, and they finish the shoot. The actor goes home, and his family members ask, how was the shoot today? And he says, now oru thadava sonna, nooru thadava sonna madri. So they say, oh, is this the punchline today? It's very nice. And then they say, what else happened? And he says, now oru thadava sonna, nooru thadava sonna madri. And they just laugh it off and say, can I bring coffee? And to that he answers, now oru thadava sonna, nooru thadava sonna madri. Then somebody says, so-and-so uncle had called, shall I tell him to call again? And he says, now oru thadava sonna, nooru thadava sonna madri. Now they are getting worried. If you see here, in the morning at the studio, he said this dialogue, now oru thadava sonna, 40 times. And nobody thought anything about it. It was completely normal. But in the evening, when he said this dialogue 4 times, we start getting worried. That's because in the morning, he was playing the role of Badsha. And in the evening, he is out of that Badsha role and he's in the role of an actor. Now, some of you will ask, I told in the beginning that being a doctor, actor, father and mother are all roles. So, is he an actor? No, he's not an actor. Then you might ask, then who is he? Is he the superstar? No, he's not the superstar. That's the title we gave out of love. Then who is he? Is he Rajinikanth? No. Is he Shivaji Rao Gaikwad? No. Even our names are not real. Now, I'm called Mohan because if I didn't have a name and if I was waiting in a reception, how will you call me in? You need to gesture a lot to point out me. So I have a name for a purpose. Now, if you go to my classmate group from Stanley and tell them Mohan said this, the first question everybody will ask is which Mohan? Because for them, I am Mohan Raj. Because there is another Mohan, Mohan Kumar. So they need to have this differentiation. If you go back to my school group, there were 3 Mohans and we were known by our initials. So your name itself changes depending on how many more people. In our class, there were 4 Ravis, 3 Radhas, and they were known by their initials or there's other attributes. So even our names are not real or permanent. Now, one of my friend, Anand, wears many hats, and among those hats are being a poet and a writer. So for a literary meeting, before they printed an invitation, they asked him, "Do you write under any pseudonym?" And he said, "Yes." So they asked, "What's your pseudonym?" So he says, "Anand." So that writer says, "I thought Anand was your real name." So Anand says, No. When I was born, I didn't have a name. Anand was the name given by my parents. It's a given name." So even our names are roles that we have. It's like an identity tag. That's not real. What is the relationship between roles, identity, and mental health? We saw some examples. There's one more. A person told me, "When I go for a walk in the morning, the entire neighborhood respects me. This is because I am," and he mentions his designation, a senior position in a central government institute. He said, "It's because of that. And I'm going to retire in 2 months' time, and I'm afraid that the whole neighborhood will stop respecting me." Now, forget about the neighborhood. What is very striking is his own self-respect seemed to be clipped to his designated role. In another instance, an 18-year-old boy did not want to listen to a particular advice by the father. And the father becomes very agitated and he tells the mom, "I am the senior vice president in my company. 35,000 people listen to me and he doesn't want to listen to me." Now, in the house, you are not a senior vice president, you are a father. And children have every right to say no to a particular decision and tell you the reasons why they are saying no. Now, these are problems which come because of sticking to your role for too long. Another problem can be when we do not get into the roles when others are expecting us to be. Saturday, holiday, father is at home and children want to spend time with him. And father is too busy looking into his computer, looking at the value of his stocks in the stock market. Now, one daughter told me this. Whenever father is on the computer, whatever I tell him will get one standard answer. That's all. So I told him one day, "Appa, I'm thinking of going to the 10th floor terrace, and jump from there. Now, this is the type of parent who will come to me 5 years later and complain that, "Oh, my children don't talk to me." One more problem area is conflict within roles. When there is a problem between the mother-in-law and daughter-in-law, what does the man do? Does he play the role of a dutiful son or a protective husband? Or does he play the role of a skillful mediator bringing peace? Or does he play the role of an escape artist? Most psychiatrists do not treat their family members or friends because of this. They don't want to have role conflict. They will rather play the role of a family member and let their colleague take care of their relative. Same with many other specialties. But there are some professions where your role as a family member and your professional role can directly come in conflict. Like if a parent is a police officer or a judge and their son or daughter is a criminal. Do you remember the number of novels, number of movies where this conflict drives the plot? In Tamil, there is an apt word for role. It's called patram. Patram means a vessel. Now you pour a liquid into any vessel. The liquid assumes the shape and the size of that vessel. And when you pour from one vessel to another, it again assumes the size shape of the new vessel. Similarly, when we play a role, we imbibe the characteristics of that role and appropriately change when we get into the next role. Now, from today morning, how many roles have you been in? Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please tell 4 of your friends. And if one of them might want to watch it in Tamil, tell them there is a Tamil version with the same content. Stay tuned because Mindscape matters. Bye.